And Frankfurt and Tyson. We're moving them now.
Is it 14?
The eyes are 14, I got this.
Welcome to the Disruptors Network. I'm Bill with Kiba Live, and you're listening to the first part of our show of Congratulations Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. The aftermath party, which will cost thousands of dollars and many people injured. But don't let that bother you, folks, because tonight, the Super Bowl has been won by the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is exciting news, being that the Patriots did not pull off number 6. That's ring number 6 for winning 6 consecutive Super Bowls. What is Tom Brady going to do? These are facts and figures and announcements that I'm sure that are going to go all over all forms of media, from social media to your regular broadcasted media. But wait a minute. Why are we getting so excited? Let's back up. Let's rewind the program for a second. Maybe you didn't hear the calls from the police department in Philadelphia as they're rounding people up that are breaking windows, destroying cars, making mayhem, blocking streets, and the list goes on. The list is so powerful because they're now Super Bowl champions that the town, piece by piece, is being dismantled. Oh, this is a great time for sports. I can't wait to hear those super jocks on the radio tomorrow talking about the pass plays and the downs. Oh my goodness, the frustration they must have not being able to cover all of the wonderful, exciting Super Bowl points. Well, nobody's going to be talking about the cost to the taxpayers. How about those brave and courageous officers that are risking their lives, putting on helmets and forcing the crowds back? Crowds that are throwing bottles, rocks, and sticks at them. Oh, well, hey, that's okay because the NFL has a Super Bowl Sunday once a year. Now, I'm not going to just pick on the NFL because if you remember right and recall very correctly, every time a major sporting event has concluded, the victors in that community cost the taxpayers and the private citizens a pain in the head and in the pocketbook. Why is that? Why can't we just say, hey, we won, go out, have dinner, and go home? Why do we have to leave the billion-dollar stadium, which a lot of people can't afford to go sit in that billion-dollar stadium because of the price of tickets? You know, the ones that are sitting there in the booths with beautiful cocktails being served to them. Or maybe the people that are out there in those beautiful lit stadiums, 500 rows up, that pay $1.50 for an 11-ounce, bottle of water. Let's not forget those folks either. Oh, I guess I'm sounding sadistic. I guess I'm sounding absolutely out of source. But I can't help myself. When I stop and sit down, and I like to watch football, I enjoy it. Of course, I don't enjoy it when I see poor sportsmanship, which seems to be the call of the day on the football gridiron. You know, the punching, kicking, stabbing, or whatever else they're doing out there to each other because they're mad at each other. Maybe I've lost a little enthusiasm when I find out that a quarterback's making $40 million or $20 million or $80 million. Maybe I get upset when any professional athlete makes so much money for so little. I guess that's just me. And yeah, I extend out congratulations to those who have foundations that give back to the community. Of course, let us not forget that when they're doing this, it's a tax write-off. Okay, but their heart's in the right position. And their endorsements help them with pocket change. But believe me, I have never seen a man yet worth $50 million. The President of the United States, one of the most powerful persons on this planet, doesn't even make close to that. And let's take President Trump's financial, shall we say, endeavors off the books, and let's talk about what is paid to the President of the United States. Wow, it seems to me that who'd want to be the president? I'd rather be out there and be a super jock athlete and go out there and make the big dollars and collect those endorsements that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I know what they're going to say. We have a short span, and there's not very many of us that get up to the top of those big, big pillars of money. And that's true. And injuries take us out of the game. Or maybe we have a bad season and have a couple of beers and get arrested. Oh, that just takes us out of the whole picture. So you have to understand that we have to stay gridiron ready. And our actual lifetime on the gridiron is maybe 15 years before we're moved on and the water boy, picks up the football and ends up being another Tom Brady. I don't know how you look at these things. I just think to myself, this year in football has been probably the worst. Let me stop and give you a response of why I feel this way. Of course, what I've just talked about, the billion-dollar stadiums, okay, they do help interstate commerce work and build economies. I'm not saying they don't. But the pretense is everybody can have a family event. Very few can take their wife and 2 kids to the football game, not a Super Bowl game, just a football game, and not expect to pay close to $100 to $125 to spend 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and a half, maybe even up to 3 hours, depending upon how tightly the score goes and if the game goes into overtime. Maybe I don't see the excitement of painting myself green, purple, and wearing a funny costume, and the chances are that the television screen and the cameras will all match up, and there I'll be, yelling on my favorite team to success, I hope. And maybe I don't understand the theory of an $8 beer or a bottle of water worth $8 or $9, and the exciting moments of saying, I was there that day when that particular game was played. Maybe I don't understand that at all. You see, I came from a generation that when they went out to play ball, they played ball for the sport of it. Oh, I know what you're thinking. He's just too old. The sport of it. The actual athlete that kids looked up to. The one that had a good attitude and a positive effect on the community? Well, sure, they needed to be paid. I agree to that. But what I don't agree to is today's million-dollar players. There's not a lot of them that go out and play, build their success, which is the right of every American to do. But I just don't understand what makes these superheroes. And the sad part of this all is some of these football players are great individuals. They give the children an opportunity for somebody to look up to, somebody that works hard and dedicates themselves to the sport. But unfortunately, I think this Super Bowl 2018 was the worst year in the NFL history. We found out just recently that many of the referees may throw a game because they're betting on the side, of course. Well, now that's unfounded, and a lot of you good football playing fans are going to say I'm just bloviating over that issue. Or maybe the idea that the Philadelphia team, the Patriots, have been repeatedly caught cheating throughout the years. But hey, we let them go, right? We just forget all about it. Fine them a couple $100,000. That's nothing but petty cash for these organizations. And they stick a few bucks away, take care of it at the end of the year, pay up their fines. Maybe they're told that their star people that won that game, you're not going to be able to play for the first 3 or 4 games. What punishments? And then comes that Sunday when the season starts over. And I get excited, too, about our hometown team. And then there it is. They're out there throwing the ball, they're playing. Because I can watch it on television if I'm lucky enough. Of course, the NFL naturally wants to make sure that part of the games are on a higher paying network because, face it, folks, the nonprofit restructured NFL for somewhat of a profit needs to suck in every dollar they can grab off the top of the heap. They can go ahead, the NFL people can I shouldn't say manipulate, that's bad. I almost said that word, manipulate what's going on and what you're seeing on that gridiron. I've never felt this poorly about football until this last year. But let's get down to the final brass tacks. Let's look at the kids for just a moment. Do you think your children really, really, truly understand what's going on? When a football player is tackled and thrown down deliberately and busting his shoulder or his legs or his knees or whatever, because you got to get that star out of that game so you can win that game. Or maybe it's great sportsmanship when you see them going out and punching each other and the referees being pushed around and absolute chaos hits the field. Maybe that's good sportsmanship for our kids. Well, folks, if you believe that way, and if you want to spend and continuously go out and unload your pockets for a 2.5-hour fun-filled family activity, I don't know what to say. Except I sure appreciate the good old days when athletes were athletes. So we appreciate taking this time on the Disruptors Network to, I guess, bloviate and stand here in the studio on top of my soapbox and yell and scream. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you'll do me a favor and go to Kiba. That's KeebaSmiling.com, K-E-E-B-A Smiling.com. Leave me a note. Let me know what you think about the show. And if you know some other topics that we can talk about, I'd like to hear from you about those too. So until we meet again on the Disruptors Network, this is Bill saying, keep smiling.